Hello and welcome friends. Today I would like to share a little inspiration for how to use my spooky Halloween, this little witch girl Clearstamps set, which is available in my shop. And we are going to create this cute little art journal page here using our little witch girl, coloring it with some let me just grab some Zig clean color rebrush pens, so with some aqua markers, watercolor markers, and we're gonna use some mixed media techniques in the background using the infusions, color pigments, and some texture paste and some stenciling. So we are going to create this cute little art journal page together, and I think without further ado we will jump right in and get started, and I hope you will enjoy this little tutorial video. Okay, so I'm starting with a layer of some stenciled light texture paste. This is just a normal texture paste, but with a very creamy, soft, lightweight consistency. And I'm using a stencil and a palette knife to get a first layer of texture down onto the page. So I'm just grabbing a little bit of the texture paste, and I want the art journal page to be Halloween themed, so I thought this brick wall texture would be a really nice match here for the theme. I'm just adding it to the page, making sure I'm leaving like some uneven borders here, since I really don't want like a rectangular stenciled image on my page, but one with a very loose, very distressed edge like this. So I'm getting this creamy texture down onto the page like this. I'm gonna let it dry. Okay, so the texture paste is dry, and what I will do next is I will grab my infusions, and I'm working with the color violet and rusty car, and this is a nice violet and an orangey yellow tone. It's this one here and this one, violet, and those two are really pretty together and give a nice color combination for a Halloween page. And I have this tiny hole here in the top, and I will just sprinkle a little bit of the powder onto the page, making sure that I don't add too much, because from my experience it really looks better with little powder on it. So less is definitely more in this case. And then I will just grab some water. This is just a spray bottle with some clear water in it, and I will just spritz some water onto the page to activate the colors. And it depends on the look you want to go for. If you add more water, it gives you a different look compared to adding little water. So this is something to really experiment with and see how you like it best. And you can even add a little more powder if you think it needs a little more in one area. And I really love the color. It's like bleeding and blending into each other. Gives a really awesome, adorable look here. Okay, so I think I like the result. So I will stop here. This will again need a little bit of time to dry. So once this is dry, I want to bring out the brick wall texture a little bit more again. So I'm using some watercolor paint and a little sponge. just a kitchen sponge, just adding a little bit of the white acrylic paint, and then I'm just slightly rubbing it across the surface. And this will reactivate the color pigment underneath a little, but that actually doesn't matter, because this way you will get a nice off-white color, so the color will kind of match the color pigments we use in the background a little more, yet it kind of brings out this texture a little more. So you can see it's not a plain white acrylic paint anymore, but it kind of adapted a little bit of the orange color here and of the purple color underneath. But as you can see, the brick wall texture really stands out now. Okay, so before we move on with the stamping, with the stamped images and the coloring process, just want to add some white paint splatters here, and I will just load my brush with some water just to water down the acrylic paint a little. And once my brush is loaded with the color, I'm just adding some white paint splatters here. And this also kind of brightens up the dark background a little, and it adds a little more contrast here. And of course the white splatters look especially spectacular here in those darker areas. Like this. Okay, I love the result, so I'm gonna put that aside to dry. Okay, so next thing, I'm gonna stamp some images. So from the Changing Leaves Clearstamp set, this cute little autumn girl, and from the Halloween, spooky Halloween stamp set, this cute little witch here. And I'm using my black stas on, so I'm just gonna stamp some of the images and words on a heavyweight watercolor paper. Now that I have stamped them with waterproof ink, I'm gonna color them, and I'm gonna use my Pentel aqua brushes. And for this little witch girl, I'm gonna use my aqua markers, my Zig Clean Color Rear Brush pens. Okay, and I'm just gonna get started here. And if you want to see this in detail, like with some tips on how to color the little stamped girls, there are other videos in my channel that will guide you through this process step by step. I'm going to put you in fast forward now, but if you want some tips, or if you want to see this more in depth, more in detail, you can just go to my channel and check out the other videos. I'm also going to put the link to the video that I have in mind in the info box below the video. And of course you can color it with any other type of watercolor, but I really love to work with the Zig Clean Color Rebrush pens because they have really beautiful colors available, and I just love the way they blend after applying them to the paper. So definitely a thumbs up for the Zig Clean Color Rebrush pens. Next thing, I have a little bit of some like fiber fabric here, different sorts, like this one with some natural fibers, or this one which also could look pretty cool. Not really sure which one I want to use for this Halloween art journal page. I actually love both of them. Really love this because it kind of looks like from a mummy. Is it called mummy? It gives a lot of dimension here, which I love. But I also love those loose fibers here, which could kind of give a little bit of a ragged look on here. Yeah, I think I will go with those loose fibers. I will just tear some of them off this larger piece. And I think I will just add them here to the page, just in a very random way. Kind of creating a base for my little witch later on. So I'm just tearing this into the right size for me. And I can still do a little bit of correcting later with the scissors. So for now I will just use some heavyweight gel medium as a glue. And I think I want a little bit down here because I don't want to cover up like the whole texture on here. Okay, so I will just limit this a little. Okay, so what I will do is I will just use a little bit of the gel medium. And I will just apply it here to the page. We're using a thick layer because I really want the fibers to stick to the page, don't fall off. Then I will just put them into place here. And some more. Like this. This gives me a pretty good base for my cute little witch girl in the next step. So while this dries, I'll just cut out my colored images here on the watercolor paper. And I like to cut it out, leaving a tiny white border around the image, because this helps the image to really stand out and pop off the page in the end. Okay, so now that I've cut this out, I'm just gonna use a black ink pad to slightly ink the edges, giving it a little bit of a distressed look here. Same with the pumpkins. And with the words that I cut out. Like this. And before I adhere this, or adhere those images to the page, I still want to add some black paint splatters here to the page, using my Ecoline liquid watercolor, black and maybe some gold. So I'm just gonna grab this and grab a brush. I'm just adding some splatters here to the page. this. And some gold ones, using the gold Ecoline watercolor. I'm gonna let this dry. Okay, and next I'm grabbing my cutouts here, my stamped images. Just gonna lay them out and see where I want things to go. And I will just use some gel medium again. To adhere to the page. And because of the rough surface underneath, I'm just adding a good layer, a good thick layer of the gel medium to make sure everything stays in place where I want it to. This, and I really like it to have the edges slightly loose so you can slightly bend them upwards. It adds a little more depth and dimension here. So for the next one I'm grabbing some 3D glue dots because I want to layer this a little. So cute, I like it. Just gonna fuzzy that up a little more, like this. I like those loose edges here. And a cute little witch girl, Halloween witch girl. The pumpkins, the cat. Yeah, so calling this page done. Quick and easy. I really like the way it turned out. So hope you enjoyed this little tutorial, this little video, and hope it gave you an inspiration on how to use my little Halloween witch stamp set. So if you want to own it, it is still available. There are a few leftovers in the shop. I will put the link in the info box. And yeah, if you order it now, it will arrive shortly. So still in time to use it for some fun, cute Halloween crafts, Halloween projects. So yeah, so hope you liked it, hope you enjoyed it, and I'm sorry about my voice because I have a little bit of a cold. You've probably heard it. So yeah, thanks for watching and talk to you all soon. Bye!